The top layers is where the dead skin is, and the basal layer, the bottom layer where all the little cells are, is where the stem cells are, where all the cells regenerate and renew. These cells also have where the melanocytes are. The melanocytes are the cells that produce melanin. Melanin is the pigment that gives us color. Melanin is produced by the cells and put into little sacs. These sacs are called melanosomes. So they're little sacs that contain the pigment. And the cells go through a whole series of processes to produce this pigment. They produce the pigment first by a hormonal action onto the cell, which stimulates it, and after that it goes through a series of enzymatic processes where it changes the color to the color that needs to be genetically. So in whiter people we have what's called pheomelanin, and in darker people we have what's called eumelanin, which is actually true melanin, true color. Once these melanosomes produce the type of melanin, the type of pigment, and they're packaged it, the melanocytes have little tentacles, have little dendrites, have little branches that go out into the skin and deliver these packets of pigment to the other cells in the skin called keratinocytes, the skin cells. Then those cells pick up this pigment, and as they go up into the skin levels towards the top of the skin, then the pigment becomes visible. The main function of melanin is to protect the skin from the sun, from the rays of damage that comes from ultraviolet, and from irritation. So anytime you do anything that causes harm to the skin, the response of the body is to produce pigment to protect it. The main things that cause us to have this pigment is either hormones, so people who have pregnancies or are birth control, or they have hormonal imbalances, they get something called the mask of pregnancy or melasma. That's one type of pigmentation. Other people get it from irritation and oxidation, from pollution, from stress and inflammation. And those also get post-inflammatory changes, so they call hyperpigmentation. And that's more pigment is produced in certain areas that were irritated. You also have sun-induced pigment. So when you get a tan, you're actually damaging your cells, and in response, the body's producing pigment and you're getting darker. However, over time, the skin doesn't get darker evenly, and it doesn't have a normal even tone to the skin color. It changes and it gets blotchiness. And this blotchiness is what makes us look aged and old. So the idea is to go and prevent it and correct it. So we looked at all the different ingredients, and we can look at scientifically what happens to the pigment cells. So the pictures you see with the pigment is where the melanocytes have normal pigment, and then when you add different ingredients to it, you can see how the melanocytes respond, and you can see that in response to certain pigment, to certain chemicals or to certain signals, the pigment doesn't produce, and the cells become clearer. So in order to get a great improvement in the skin color, you need to do different things at different levels. Like we talked about, the cells get hormonal influences, so you have to address that. You have to address the pollution and inflammation and the toxins that cause it. You have to protect it from the sun. If you look at somebody who was in the sun versus somebody who wasn't, they look much more older, the skin looks leathery, looks discolored. And somebody who wasn't, the skin is much brighter and much better. Even on the same person, if you look on the back of their hands, is darker. If you look on the inside where the sun doesn't go, it's much whiter and much better. So you have to protect it from the sun. And you can also improve the rate that the cells turn over. So we want to improve the skin by taking out the color that's already produced. So you can reduce what's the melanosomes or the color in the keratinocytes that we talked about. So having that idea of what actually happens, we created a unique product where until now all the products on the market were very harsh and they had a lot of chemicals and they caused a lot of irritation in the skin, trying to bleach out everything or to chemically or put acids on to peel off the skin. With the Flawless Skin Brightener, we're not doing that. The idea is to use this ATP200 advanced polypeptide technology. The technology is so unique to the Luminesce skincare line to help reduce this sun damage and discoloration, to correct the changes in the skin. And it has different very good products in there, like vitamin B3 and vitamin C and glucosides, which help to improve the skin and bring the skin to be more even colored and brighter. One of the important things that's in this product that you should know about is there's something called flash white. These flash whites are little spheres that contain the vitamin C, so that the vitamin C stays active. The spheres are made of titanium dioxide, which are the product that helps block the skin from the rays of the sun. So when you actually put this product on, it will look a little white. It will have a little particles of white in it, and when you rub it on, those will disappear. But that will activate the vitamin C, and it will protect the skin through the action of the titanium dioxide being put on it. So when you see that, that's actually intended to be there. The white particles are not anything that's not supposed to be there. It's meant to be there. So that this product is very unique because of the combination of all these. And like we talked about, it will even out the dark spots, the skin tone, and the discoloration. And it will not irritate you or make you peeling or red. So it's a very, very gentle product. Like anything that we're doing on the skin, usually takes a few weeks before you see the change. Here is a patient of mine that put it on for about 2 months, and you can see the dramatic change in the skin color. Here is at 3 months on the forehead. Here's another patient with 8 months on the forehead. And this is after 3 months on the chest. And some of these things will not go because they're not actually color, but they're growths on the skin. So the growths on the skin will not disappear, they need to be treated with actually burning them off or cutting them off. But anything that has to do with the pigment should correct and get better over time with the use of the product. So the things that I want to go over, thank you. The things that I want to go over which is important, is that it does not contain hydroquinone. It doesn't have any chemicals to make you sensitive to the sun. It doesn't have any strong acids in it. And you can use it on all skin colors. It won't irritate you, and you can use it morning and night without having irritation, and you can use it all the time. There's no limit to how much you can use it. So, there we go. So this is going to become part of the Luminesce skincare line, and the Luminesce skincare line that we have, which we're going to talk more in depth about in the afternoon. We're going to have this regimen so that everybody's clear of what the steps are. And I'm going to repeat this in the afternoon so it's very clear. But once you wash your skin with the restoring cleanser, you want to put on, if you're going to use the mask, you put on the ultimate lifting mask, and then you put the eye firming gel on, then you put the cellular rejuvenation serum, and after that you put the flawless skin brightener, followed by the daily moisturizer or the advanced night repair. So those are the steps you want to put these on. And the flawless skin brightener and the serum are not one and the same. They have different APT200 factors in them. So for those who are thinking they do the same thing, they don't. So I hope you share your pictures like you've done before. Send me your pictures, show me how good the products are, and I appreciate you and I thank you for all being here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. 非常谢谢 Doctor 亲自来到现场，为我们介绍重量级的新品。